But there are now fingers being pointed at the Reserve Bank, Ross. I mean, some economists saying, well, you know, there's the problem. It's kept interest rates too high for too long, thinking we had too many people in jobs. The Reserve Bank thinking we'd need more unemployment to take off the pressure and bring down inflation. Are these critics right?
No, because the Reserve Bank, up until now, has had one primary goal, and that is to bring underlying inflation back into its target band sustainably of between 2 and 3%. Now, you can always argue as to how they were going to do that. What's happened is that the Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, changed the rules and said you've not only just got to look at the inflation rate, you've also got to look at jobs and try and create as many jobs as you possibly can or hold them. Now, the Reserve Bank, true to form, has embarked upon this, but this has really not been tried in any major Western economy really ever, successfully, certainly not. And so while other countries right now are cutting interest rates because they took the hard decision to slow their economy much more quickly and drive up their unemployment rate, Australia's drifted. And the real problem for Australians is this feeling of really discomfort about the cost of living, the rising taxes because of ongoing inflation. That could stick around for some time. And so that doesn't make people happy with the government going into a poll because they do recognise that it's about energy prices. It's about their groceries, but importantly, more people are going to understand it's about the amount of tax that this government has taken out of people's pockets as a share of GDP really approaching record highs.
Now, Ross, if I think people need to see our future, I'd say, well, go and look at Victoria. Look at Victoria for an example of where we're heading. You'll get a warning. The Business Council has now said that Victoria, which used to be Australia's manufacturing base, is now rated the worst state to do business in because of high taxes, red tape, payroll tax rates, land taxes. In fact, just to start a cafe, you need 35 or 36 licences. The Premier was cross today. Here she is.
People from Sydney, look, this is a view from others. What I am focused on is Victorians. Victorians in jobs, because behind every job is a worker and a family who needs the Victorian government focused on them. And that's what I'm doing, focused on busy families and building those things that families need.
Yeah, fine words, but I don't think they answer the point that the Business Council was making. How much trouble is Victoria in, and is the rest of Australia going to pay?
Well, let's make one little example, and that is when the Labor government came to power, the debt in Victoria was give or take about $40 billion. It's suggested that by 2028, that debt will be $228 billion and rising fast. This has come out of the Auditor General of Victoria. For those people the Premier was talking about in Victoria that she's concentrating on, can I just suggest a little weekend away to Sydney or maybe to Brisbane or go to Adelaide, for example, and you will discover quite a different mood and quite a different city. You'll find in particular the moods are much brighter. The people seem to be a lot happier. Their house prices are going up, and you won't see as many people beholden to the government for their jobs. In Brisbane, certainly under the Palaszczuk government, there was a significant number of increases in public servants. But what you've seen even under federal government, the federal Labor government, and also the state Labor governments, you've seen a significant increase in the number of people who rely on government or government policy, childcare, aged care, basically public servants of all sorts, really who are beholden to the government for their jobs. And so this is a really important aspect. If you want to get Victoria moving again, if you want to get Australia moving again, Victoria has got to become more competitive. Increasing taxes drives business out of any state. Having some of the highest energy bills in Australia drives businesses out of your state. Government can't do it all. It needs private enterprise to be encouraged and incentivised to live in that state, to exist in that state, to employ in that state.
So what you're saying there, Ross, is to the rest of Australia, look at Victoria and be warned. Do not do what they're doing there. Thanks for your time.
Quite okay.